What I do want to say, first of all, is you don't have to track calories to lose weight. There's a big debate in the industry all the time about, oh, you don't have to track calories, and tracking calories is the best. It's very dependent on what works for you. When I work with ladies, I do like them to track in the first phase of our program so I can have a bit of an idea of what's going off, and they too get a mirror held to them of what's actually going off with their nutrition. Now, you don't have to track, right? Of course you don't. But when we do track with the girls, one of the things that I see that happens, and I totally get it, is they'll start the week really well. They'll be like, well, yeah, motivation's high, everything's going well. And then what will happen is they'll get to like midweek, they'll get to the end of the week, and they run out of steam, they start to flag a little bit. Not their fault. Work happens, life happens, kids happen, relationships happen. Everybody runs out of steam as they get towards the end of the week. But then what can happen is days or evenings can creep in where there's an extra glass of wine, there's a takeaway in there. And what happens then is they won't track that in because they're like, oh my God, I've messed it up. So they won't track in their numbers. Now, I'm very big with the girls when they do have these situations go off where I'm like, listen, make sure you're tracking it in. Get a ballpark idea of where you're at. Try and put something in, because I know this from experience, and we've had this lately. So we've had it where it gets to the end of the week and it doesn't quite go right for them, and they'll have a takeaway. They'll have some extra glasses of wine and they completely fall away from the tracking. What I've been getting them to do is actually, look, don't panic about it. Don't cause yourself for stress or any anxiety or any overwhelm. What I want you to do is try and get a ballpark idea of what you've had there. Put it into your tracking. Let's see where you're at. And 9 times out of 10, when we get to their check-in, we actually look at the numbers. We average the numbers out of what they've done during the week, and it's never, ever as bad as they think it's been. So, what I'm saying here on this video is, if you are somebody who is on a diet, you're tracking your numbers and every week seems to be going wrong, and you're like, oh, it's the tracking, it's putting me off, and it's just all going wrong. What I would say to you is, when those days occur, and they will happen, when you get stresses, when work goes wrong, when the kids are playing up, you have an argument with your partner, those days will come. When it happens and you do have the takeaway, you do have that blowout in the evening of the food that you've not planned in, when the day's bigger than you've been expected, try and track that in. Don't see it as a negative. Don't see it as something to feel guilty about. Track it all in. Then when you actually look at your averages for that week, I guarantee you're never going to be far away from where you actually need or want to be. And that will give you empowerment, because what I've been finding with the girls is, instead of them going, oh yeah, I've blown it, I have to start again next week, when we sit them down, take a step back and look at their metrics. Okay, this was your bigger than planned and expected day. Actually look at the whole process of this, that big of a deal. So you need to start again next week. No need to lose your mind and fall back onto that diet merry-go-round. We've not failed with anything. So let's continue. Let's continue with building the habits we've got, and we'll make progress. And this is a massive thing. It's not pass or fail. Dieting shouldn't be about passing and failing. Like, oh, I failed today. I failed this week. I'll have to start again next week. To get any form of real fat loss, it has to be a lifestyle. I know it sounds a little bit like, it's going to be a lifestyle, but it's so true. And to get real fat loss, you've got to take these days where things don't quite go to plan or are bigger than expected. You've got to take those days and roll with them and go, actually, let's look at the bigger picture. Let's take a step back. Where actually are we with this? Have I completely blown it? You absolutely haven't. Look at the metrics, look where you're at with it, and go, okay, we're not off track, we've not failed anything, we can just continue to be doing what we're doing, we can pull some numbers back, and ultimately we can continue to progress without the panic of building that kind of anxiety and overwhelm of eating the bad food or eating the wrong foods, or falling off the wagon with the diet. It's building that mindset, it's giving yourselves that flexibility, and it's not having that overwhelm when it comes to nutrition and food, and not feeling guilty when you're eating certain foods or having bigger days or evenings than expected.